Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back for another review of My Five Whys, Season 1, Episode 8 will be there for you. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button as we begin talking about this episode. So, the episode begins with Rhonda and the weight of what she's going through. As a reminder, she is Brady's fifth wife. It is her night, and she and Brady are in bed with their son as they're trying to put him to sleep. For all my new parents out there, if any of you are new parents, you do yourself a disservice by making it, and your child as well, that you have to hold your child in order for them to sleep. The best thing that you can do is to start them early off on learning how to self-soothe, because when it comes to the time where you got to do something or where you need somebody to babysit, you're going to have problems with that child needing you in order to go to sleep. My cousin, who did not listen to me, love you if you watching, Buki, she didn't listen. I told her this very thing, and unfortunately, her daughter needs them in order to go to sleep. It catches up with you. So if you can avoid it, try to avoid it. I'm gonna get off my high horse and get back to this. Okay, so they discuss her upcoming mammogram that is scheduled for the following day. Rana, by nature, she says, is a procrastinator when it comes to doing things for herself. And she, at this point, wouldn't mind if the results take a while, because for right now, she just wants to pretend everything's okay. I think that we can all understand that, right? Brady asks if she wants him to be there when she gets her mammogram. She tells him she knows that he'll be busy and that, he has to work. And she tells him she could go by herself. I personally would have thought that one of the wives would have offered to go with her for this. I get that they wouldn't have been able to go to the room with her, but it might have helped ease some of her anxiousness if they were there for her rather than having just the camera crew there recording everything. It would have been nice maybe for her to have one of them. So we see that Paulie and the other wives are meeting up. Paulie suggests that they do something nice for Rhonda because she can use their support. She thinks it would be nice if they clean, Rhonda's house for her. All the wives agree that this would be something good, and they're all in. So we see Brady, he's visiting one of his construction sites. He is being filled in by his personnel, what's going on, what needs to be done at this particular site. But all he tells us is that he can only think about Rhonda. Like, he's not even really registering what's going on because he just wants to know what's going on with his wife. He finds it hard to focus on work because he can't imagine a life without having her in it. So we see Rhonda as she heads to her appointment. As she's driving, her nerves are kicking in because she can't help but be reminded of how things went with her mother. She's seen what cancer can do, and it's heartbreaking. When she said it's heartbreaking, I felt her so much in that moment because it is. I've seen the good side of it where people come through. I have a friend that just had her 10-year checkup and she's doing wonderful. And then I look at people like my auntie who didn't make it. So it really does, break your heart when you think about it. She says that her mom went in, she got a mammogram, and immediately they scheduled her for a meeting with the radiologist because of how advanced the cancer was. They told her that they would prefer for her not to go home, go ahead and have this meeting. And her response to that was she told them that it would be okay. She's going to go home. I'm thinking that that means that her mother didn't seek any type of treatment, but you all correct me down below if I got it wrong. It's just the way that she said that makes me feel like, okay, this is when she found out. They told her that they wanted her to see a radiologist. After speaking with the radiologist, she says, okay, and she's going to go home. She continues by saying that her mother did exactly what she was supposed to do. By supposed to do, I'm thinking in terms of their faith, because she says that we're supposed to have faith in God, that He would heal her and give blessings, that all she needed to do was have that faith, eat healthy, have the right attitude, have faith in God. So she had faith, she ate healthy, and then she passed. Part of the problem that I've realized in reading up on this belief system and hearing some of the memoirs that we've read on the channel is that a lot of them are taught not to seek medical help of any kind when it comes to ailments and injuries. We read about a boy that like fell off of the second floor, a baby, and landed, and the little toddler, actually it was in pain for multiple days before the mom had to beg to allow her son to get treatment. And he had all these broken bones and some other stuff going on in him, and they had that baby suffering for over 24 hours because they were praying for healing. So that's how deep they are when it comes to this. So a lot of what they're taught is to pray and believe that it's going to be okay. But one of the things that they're leaving out is that in the Bible, it says faith without works is dead. In other words, yes, you have faith, but you also have to put in the work. You have to do your part, which in this case would be to seek medical attention. So it's just sad. Um, as she's talking, I completely understand what she's saying about cancer and how it scares her and how it affected her family. I remember when my aunt, sorry for rambling y'all, but you know how I get. When my aunt was diagnosed, I remember that from the time that she was diagnosed, or should I say from the time that she told us she was diagnosed to the time that she passed, it was less than a year. And I remember my mother was the main one claiming healing, claiming for a miracle and all these things. And she really, really did believe it. She was really praying for it and all those things. And I got to the point where something said to me, like, prepare your mother because she's not going to make it. And I remember how devastated I was in hearing that. And y'all got to understand, we all have different beliefs. So I'm saying something, but in my mind, it was the Holy Spirit that told me that. And I remember having to tell my mother that, and how devastated my mom was when I said that to her. And I mean this with every part of me. I'm not lying when I say this. I told my mother that she needed to go to New York to be with my aunt. And my mom was like, I don't know. I think, she's fine. She's going to be okay. Da, da, da. And I was like, no, mommy, you need to go. She was planning on going like 2 months later than what she originally did. And what ended up happening was my mom went to New York. She got to spend some much needed time with her sister. And in less than a month, my aunt passed, and it was worse than we knew it was. At that point, the cancer had moved to her stomach. She was so small, she wouldn't even get on FaceTime. And this is the aunt that I lived with for years. This is the aunt that saved me. She refused to get on FaceTime and let me see her. She wouldn't do it. Whew, because she said she didn't want to be remembered like that. So when I heard her talking about that and the devastation of cancer, that's all I could think about. And I know there are some of you who are watching that are, battling different forms of cancer. And all I can say to you is keep fighting. Just keep fighting. You're already doing it. I know some of you have watched and you said in the comment section that you're currently going through chemo, and the conversations and the laughter keeps you going. And I just feel like when you're going through something like this, and when it's that scary, and I've never had a scare myself. I've had friends and family that have been through it, but being there, I think, for a person helps. And correct me down below if I'm wrong. I just think it helps. um Rhonda says that she believes God inspires many people, and that's why there are treatments that they've taken a step back in the dark ages. And I think she's talking about the belief that she left, that they've closed their eyes to new perspectives, meaning that doctors too can be inspired by God. She struggles with the way that she was raised, because you're supposed to trust that Heavenly Father will heal the body that you've been given. And she just basically, bottom line is, she was taught wrong. I'm not saying that there isn't healing, but it doesn't always happen. Rhonda gets her mammogram. Beforehand, she makes them aware of a lump and a discharge. She points out that the mammograms are unpleasant, but she has to do everything that she can. She's not going to sit by. She's going to make sure she's around for her children. The way she's talking, it really does make me feel like she's witnessed other family members not seek help, not just her mom, but others as well. Um, Kudos to her for seeing that part of her upbringing was wrong, that in spite of her internal struggle with this situation, that she is doing what she needs to do to make sure that she's here. So they do the mammogram, they do see some calcifications, and they decide to get imaging from her previous mammogram to compare to see if any changes have occurred within the size, or if there's more than before calcifications. So we go to it being time for dinner. The kids, mainly the boys, are wasting food, in my opinion. They're flinging food at each other. Growing up as a kid, we never were allowed to play around the table at all, and definitely not with our food. There was no way, no how. So as I was watching this, I'm sitting here like, how did y'all allow it to get to this point? So some of the kids are at the table, some are on the couches, some are on the floor. My guess is they may not have seats for 29 people to sit around a table, that they probably only bring out all that seating for like holidays. So it's common for them to kind of scatter about. I'm not judging anyone for not always sitting at the dinner table. There's times where we sit at the dinner table. There's times where we sit on the couch and put the food on the ottoman. Like, it just varies, to each his own. You may even pull out a TV tray. It just varies. Now, I can't do that at my mama's house. Even now, my mom is gonna have you sit at their table. She has multiple tables. Pick one. But for them, that's not a thing. So the wives talk about how when the boys are together, they feed off each other's energy. They're not really focused about what's going on, that they're focused on having fun. So we see the boys wrestling. We see the boys being picked up and by their feet, and some of them are walking around shirtless, and some of the moms are saying no and stop it and oh my word. And Noni is like, hey, Brady, and he's the one that has to say like, hey, outside. I have a problem with kids that don't listen. I don't like it. I don't want to talk to you a whole bunch of times. I understand that it's unrealistic to feel like there will not be moments where kids try you, but don't try me on something as basic as me telling you to stop it. No, that won't work. You show off at another time. Don't do it around me. So, in my opinion, at times, I feel like they're kind of letting the kids like run over them, because I don't feel like I should have to get somebody else in order for me to get my kid to listen, because they're calling on Brady like, you're sitting in the same room. Your voice, Noni, your voice, Robin, Rosemary, Rhonda, Polly, should be enough. So Brady is saying that he's just stressed out about Rhonda and he's anxious to have her come home. I guess as to why he wasn't really saying anything when the boys were acting out, but that I, I don't know. So later on that evening, he is at the house waiting on Rhonda. His son leaves to go to a sleepover at one of his siblings' houses. Rhonda comes in and she's just happy to see that he's there because it's not her night. I wonder how late it is when she comes in. So Rhonda tells Brady that the test showed something suspicious. As I said earlier, they're going to compare this mammogram to her previous one. So she lets them know that, and she tells him it will take about a week to find out. Brady contemplates on whether he should stay with her or not. I'm assuming that it's Noni's night because he says that if he went to Noni and he told her Rhonda was having a hard time, that she would tell him to go ahead and be with Rhonda. And he also knows the way that Rhonda is, that if he tried to stay with Rhonda, she would send him back to Noni because it's Noni's night. So either way, he's in a tough position. And it's hard for him to be in it. I think this is just another instance where he's being pulled in multiple directions and he can't be there for his wives the way that he wants to be. He tells us it's hard because she's had several aunts that have had breast cancer and her mother passed from it. So he just wants to be there for her. When he was talking about the several aunts and the mom, it kind of reminded me, for those of you who watch my Married to Medicine reviews, that Dr. Contessa, for those of you who don't know, Dr. Contessa is a doctor on a show. And what happened to her was her mother passed at a young age from breast cancer. Contessa had some testing done, saw that she had the gene for it, and she did a double mastectomy because she wanted to make sure that she, lessened her chances of getting breast cancer. And she jumped on it. She did what she had to do to make sure she was here for her kids. So when I heard about like all the aunts having it and things of that nature, I just wonder if that's something that maybe, Rhonda would consider. I understand now, which I didn't know this before, but after with my friend that had it, that if you do decide to get implants, there are instances where you have to go back in and change them out, because with implantation they only supposed to last for so many years. And I didn't even think about the fact that they remove, not trying to give too much information, but they remove like your nipple and your areola. I'd never thought about any of that, because I remember when she first showed me, and I remember the beauty in her in that moment, with her being so vulnerable with me and showing me. I remember us picking out, because you can get them tattooed on as well. Some hospitals do it. She got it done by the hospital. It didn't last. Like, as it was peeling, the ink went with it. She then later got them done by a tattoo artist that, like, she actually does it. She found her on Instagram, and when I say phenomenal, like her 3D, the way that it looks, if you see it, you think it's real. So real that my mom knows my friend. And I asked my friend, can I send the picture to my mom to show her? And she's like, yeah. So I sent it to my mom. I was like, what are you sending me? Why are you sending me them titties, girl? So then I told her, I was like, Ma, that's so and so. And she was like, oh my goodness. And then she realized that, because she knew her story, that was she's like, that's a tattoo. It looks amazing. It looks so real. Yeah. So, anyways, it's the many things that you don't think of when it comes to that. And it's just the fact that technology and science has grown so much that these women who and men who have to go through this at least are given certain things to help them with it. I'm so all over the place with this, y'all. I'm so sorry. But I just keep thinking about things and it's like, oh, whoop, gotta tell y'all. So Rhonda admits that she sometimes wishes Brady could spend some time with her, but that's not a reality for them, that the wives need him too. So they have to stick to the schedule. I would hate that. All right. So the wives have a meeting. The kids look like they're at school. The wives are hanging out. Robin tells the other wives that the boys were causing a lot of commotion at Thanksgiving dinner. I don't understand why we're just now talking about this when this happened at Thanksgiving dinner. Is the timeline off? Because we know that Rosemary's um anniversary is in September. Her wedding thing, them celebrating, came 4 months later. So that's like January that they celebrated. Then at some point in the episode, one of the sons is telling Rhonda that he made a Valentine, which means we're near February. So why are we talking about Thanksgiving stuff here in like January or February? Either way, She says that the boys were spitting food out of their mouth. They were being gross. She thinks that their boys need to be told what's appropriate and not appropriate. Why are we just now doing this? All of your kids are of age. Teach them from a very young age what is expected when it comes to eating at the dinner table or even on the floor. Noni agrees that the kids have been rowdy at dinner time. Rosemary adds that she thinks that they not only need to discuss that, but they need to talk about the shirtless boys. That boys should wear shirts to dinner, but if nobody else feels the same way about it, she's willing to leave it alone. Polly agrees, and she does admit to us that Josh probably started it. All the wives decide that the boys need to wear shirts. Rhonda thinks that the younger kids will follow what the older ones do. They will. That often tends to happen. You do have some that, go to the beat of their own drum. But as an older sibling, I'll tell you that your siblings do look up to you, as do your cousins. I think that's natural. I know when I look at my first cousins, I go to my older cousins on advice on certain things because I respect, you know, their age. I respect the things that they've been through. Anyways, so she says the kids don't know what is expected of them and they need to take an active stand on teaching them manners. Y'all should have did that from the very beginning. I don't understand what took you so long. I don't understand why y'all been together for what? Excuse me, Rhonda's the shortest marriage, 14 years, and you haven't figured this out. That's over a decade, 2 decades for some of these kids because we have 20 something year olds in this family. It should be together by now. But maybe I'm being too judgmental. If I'm being too judgmental, just let me know down below. Brady walks in saying that the last time he found them together, someone was pregnant. Y'all keep saying things that make me feel like you guys don't normally hang out as a group of five and that this is just a scene that you're filming. So, because Brady gets more respect from the kids, he's going to have a manners talk with them. He agrees to sit down to discuss the behavior with the boys. I think it should have been with everybody and then the boys by themselves, but okay. So, we see them talk. He lets the boys know that they need to work on listening, and how they're behaving at mealtime. Stop being gross around their sisters. How about y'all stop being gross? He said around each other, y'all can toot all you want to, but be gentlemen around your sisters and other women. And he finally says they need to put their shirts on at the table. Now, Josh is on my nerves because Josh, you're the oldest one, and you keep on saying slick stuff and pushing back because Josh feels that requiring a shirt at the dinner table is just pathetic because you can go swimming and not have on a shirt. What does you being at the pool have to do with anything? I could wear a bikini at the pool too, but I'm sure that you wouldn't want to see your moms walking around in their bra and underwear. Let's be real. You're 19 years old, follow the rules or get out. The 15-year-old son tries to figure a way around things, saying, like, which moms feel that way. That way, maybe they can be shirtless at certain dinners. Okay, so do y'all not eat together all the time as a whole? That was my next question because I found that to be a little odd. Um, yeah, growing up, my brothers walked around without shirts on. Everybody had clothes on at the table. Man, let's talk, especially at my grandmother's house. At my grandmother's house, if you were leaving out of your room, no matter your age, you had to have on a robe. She was not playing with us. You had one of two options. You put on a robe or you put on the clothes that you're going to be wearing for that day. But you will not come downstairs at her dinner table in just your pajamas or in just some pants like the boys. She was very particular about that. And now that I'm older, I understand why, because unfortunately, things do happen in families that are inappropriate. So I get why this could be a thing. So Brady then challenges the boys to give their mothers a compliment later on. And it works because not only are they complimenting their moms, but they're being well mannered at dinner to the point where one of the boys volunteers himself as well as some others to wash the dishes. And then Brady agrees to help them. I don't understand why they're not already washing dishes. They're kids. I thought that that would be considered a chore, but everybody's different. Ring time. So we see Robin and Rosemary. Oh boy, this was heavy. We see Robin and Rosemary in the kitchen catching up on Rosemary's anniversary and how it went. Rosemary fills her in on the details. Y'all. Mm. So Rosemary's like, yeah, it was real beautiful. I had such a good time. There was rose petals on the bed, and it was just so beautiful. It was so nice. And Robin's like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy for you. Especially that you got your ring back. You're happy, but your face says otherwise. I said, okay, what are we about to find out here? We find out that they have this 20th anniversary tradition where the wife gets a new ring. So now Robin is nervous because in a few months, Rosemary is going to get her ring because she's having her 20th anniversary. I don't understand why, if she's about to get a ring in a couple months, Brady would spend $254 then to fix her old ring. Maybe it's the sentiment of it though, but I feel like get the new ring and then we can fix the old ring eventually. Just my thoughts. Tell me yours. So Robin is afraid that when she sees Rosemary's new ring, her feelings will get hurt. Now, when she first said that, y'all, because y'all know I'm gonna be honest with the fam, I was rolling my eyes. I was like, why are you making this about you? Who cares if you get hurt or not? But then I thought about it a little bit more, especially after what she tells us later on. We're gonna get into it. And I was like, wait a second here. Sorry if I'm loud. I said, okay, the way that she's explaining it, it would bother me too. So let me give y'all the scoop, all right? Apparently, around the time when Paulie's 20th year anniversary came up, Brady was super focused on getting her a ring. He must have talked or spoke about it a few times with Robin, right? To the point where Robin saw the ring. We'll get into it, right? So she's thinking that since Paulie got a ring, that she's obviously gonna get one too. He even asked her which would she rather, to pick out her own ring or to come with him. She says to come with you. So she's thinking at some point they're gonna do it together. The anniversary comes and there's no ring. The moment she said that, Rosemary's expression changed, as did mine. Because what do you mean you asked me what I wanted and if I wanted to go this route with you or if I wanted you to pick it out? And then my anniversary comes and I said, huh, these two actually, Rosemary and Robin, have a relationship. I realize here that the two of them are probably closer with each other than they are with the other wives because the two of them, in my opinion, seem to get slighted. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but we've seen in these episodes where they've been slighted, right? And we've seen in these episodes where the two of them have hung with each other multiple times. It seems like it's something that occurs naturally for them. So she says, like 3 weeks later, he gave me a ring. She's crying at this point as she's telling her, I don't know how this could have happened. I think it's two ways. I think that it could have been that he probably didn't have the money. And I think the other thing is that it's too many of y'all and he just, yeah, he wasn't being considerate. Rosemary's sitting there listening and she can relate to her in this moment. So she sits next to her. Robin says her 20th anniversary was one of her worst days as a married woman. After that, she says she didn't even want the ring. Brady did try to make it up to her by getting it a couple weeks later. She wore it, but she's not feeling it. She's not feeling a ring. So it's been, I think she says it's been a year or about a year. Y'all let me know. And she tried to get over it, but she's realizing that she's not over it. So she wants Rosemary to have a good experience on her 20th anniversary, but she doesn't know how she's going to feel because she's admitting that she might be jealous and hurt if Rosemary gets a nice ring. I personally appreciate her honesty, But I also want to know why she couldn't just have this conversation with Brady, why she's telling it to Rosemary, because now you're putting pressure on Rosemary, because Rosemary is okay now with waiting until y'all fix this situation before she wears her ring. Rosemary, no, you do that too much, baby. Stop putting others before you. Rosemary suggests that she and Robin go and talk to Brady together because maybe he'll understand more if she's with her, because sometimes it takes, to like to see, okay, this isn't just a Robin thing, like you were wrong. And it was also provide comfort for Robin. So Robin thanks her for listening and for being her friend, and they're going to do that. So we see Rhonda is wiping down her counter when the wives come in with buckets and cleaning supplies and lunch. They let her know that they want to, kind of alleviate some of her stress, that they want her to relax while they clean. She's really touched. She gets a little misty eyed. Robin tells us that when things like this happen, it's good to be part of a polygamous family because there are so many people there to offer support. And you can see that it meant a lot to Rhonda. She's sitting there as they're cleaning and she says, like, every time I watch y'all, I just want to cry. Let me mention, the honorable mention goes to her little one, her youngest son, that was walking around with the Swiffers like he was mopping the floor. That was cute. All right, where we at now? The confrontation. Dun 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 dun. So Robin and Rosemary pop up to have this meeting with Brady. When he sees the two of them, he instantly knows he's in trouble, right? One of them is there because they're having a grievance, and another one is there to support their sister wife. So Rosemary starts by saying, we need to have a safe talk. That goes back to episodes ago. Y'all remember he said safe talk, whatever, whatever. They canceled it, but they're going to have one with him. So she's like, this safe talk is about rings. Well, about a ring. So I noticed that the conversation starts with Robin using her sweet voice, but when Robin gets upset, it that other voice pissed off Robin. I like pissed off Robin. So Robin talks about how hurt she is about the ring. She tells him that she tried hard to be okay with it, but she's still hurt. She doesn't feel like she could wear the ring that he got her. Brady says that he understands why she would be hurt. He wants to have a do-over. And Robin says, you can't do over 20 years. Robin then goes off, and understand when I'm saying she's going off, she's actually expressing herself and she's crying while doing it, but she's getting it out there. She says, we can't just do over 20 years. It feels like you had to give me one because you got Paulie one. You were so excited to give Paulie one. And that's what you wanted for 20 years with Paulie. And so it came around to me, and you just had to get me one because you have to be fair. That's how it feels. Keep in mind, y'all, I said she's crying while she's saying all this. She says, I don't think you understand how much that you devastated me. You took me shopping on one of my dates to look at rings for Paulie. I said, oh, hell no. When she said that, she has every right to be upset. What do you mean you took her on one of her dates? So the time that you have, the little bit of time that she already gets with him, you took her on a date and you thought it would be smart to go ring shopping for Paulie? Oh no. Cody. I didn't know I was dealing with Cody. This is very Cody like. It was real jerky of him. Brady, you were a jerk for that, right? You look like a clown. So she says, you are buying a ring for another woman, and I loved you for it. I wouldn't have loved if he was buying another ring for the only person I'd love it for is it was like his mom or maybe one of my girls. But no, not another woman, not me. And I thought that was wonderful. And I just wanted the same thing. I just wanted to feel the same way, like you felt that way about me. And I got our anniversary, one of the worst days of our marriage. In other words, I wanted to feel special. And rather than that, what I got was our anniversary where you didn't even give me a ring. Robin wanted the same thing for herself. a reflection of her and Brady's love. Brady looks sorry and he does sincerely apologize for it. He admits that it wasn't his intention to hurt Robin. He's like, it wasn't my intention to hurt you. He knew something was wrong, he tells us, but she never put it out there the way that she did in that moment. I'm not that person. I'm the person that gotta tell you because it burns me up if I can't say what I gotta say. I gotta say what I gotta say. So Brady says, sometimes I'm just really stupid and I screw up. Thank you for admitting that because that was dumb and you screwed up. Robin says she wanted the sentiment to come from him. She wants him to do something sweet and special for her instead of her having to ask. It is determined that Brady will come up with the solution, and she wants to make sure that whatever that solution is doesn't get in the way of Rosemary's anniversary. Rosemary, once again, put somebody before herself, saying that her ring can be put off until it's resolved. I just feel like Rosemary sees how much pain Robin is in and she cares about her. So she's willing to put her first. I don't feel like this is a chess move. Brady thanks Rosemary for being so sweet and he hugs her before she leaves. Brady then hugs Robin as they're forehead to forehead. He says, I should be somewhere safe for you. You should never feel betrayed by me. I'm sorry. He means well, but I don't know if he can fix it. I don't, because I feel like the only way he could fix this is by getting her another ring. And if he gets another ring, that's probably going to cause issues with the wives too, I would think. So Brady explains to us how Robin felt betrayed and now understands. Robin leaves her ring on the dresser because he's going to fix it. So it's results time. Rhonda brings the mammogram results home to read with Brady. She tells us that she hadn't opened it because she was going to read it with him and she hadn't looked at it. But at the end of the conversation with Brady, she tells Brady that she already spoke with the doctor, which would mean you knew the results. I'm confused. Editors, what are you doing? Because you're making it look like this is like not being told right. And I'm hoping that it's just the edit because it's not making sense. So I'm not going to drag this thing out. Rhonda spoke with the doctor. They found two masses. The doctor has recommended a sonogram to help evaluate the situation further. Following the sonogram, more than likely, he thinks the masses should be biopsied. It could be benign. They still don't know at this point. She's upset because she was hoping that they would look at the two different mammograms and that would be the end of it. Um, Hold on a second because the ice cream truck is in the background. Brady says the doctor got a copy and talked to you, and she said, yes. She tells him that even if the ultrasound is normal, the doctor wants to do the biopsy. He tells her it's going to be okay. She says maybe. He comforts her. Brady tries to speak about it, but he struggles. He's crying with us, but we see him trying to be solid and comforting her. She is crying. She tries to put on a brave face for her kids. She says she has to do everything she can for her health, even though she was raised to believe that seeking medical treatment for this isn't right and that it makes her a bad person. Having this happen to her, according to her old belief system, would mean that she wasn't good enough and that God would heal her if she was. When she said it again, I think it's something that plays in her mind. And it reminds me of how dangerous it is that they make people feel that way. It's sick because it's something that is hard to unlearn. Um, we've read multiple books on this channel where people died because they did not get medical attention. Rhonda says she is going to be aggressive and let common sense rule. Good for you, Rhonda. I hope that we see her get some good news. If there's something that I left out that you want to talk about, feel free to put it down below. Hope you guys have a great day. Until next time.